Hi friends, today's date is 15th September and this video is on chapter 17 of Right to Recall Party Manifesto. Right to Recall Party Manifesto you can download from rahulmehta.com/301.htm. I'll repeat, rahulmehta.com/301.htm. There are on this Right to Recall group channel, YouTube's Right to Recall group channel, you will find other videos which explain chapter 1 to 16. This video explains chapter 17. Chapter 17 is informing other activists about Right to Recall drafts and saving Right to Recall movement from pseudo-recallists. What is the purpose of entire Right to Recall movement? Purpose is to get Right to Recall law draft printed in the Gazette. What is Gazette? I have explained in my previous video. Gazette is a booklet that Chief Minister, Prime Minister print once a month or once every 15 days and they send it to all officers such as collector, secretary, etc. They are basically minister's orders to collector. Gazette, it was called Rajpatra in the days of Chanakya. Today it is called as Gazette. So the first goal is to print TCP in the Gazette. What is TCP? I have explained it in section 1.3. It's a one-page draft, 3-clause draft. First goal is to get TCP printed in the Gazette, then Right to Recall PM, Right to Recall Supreme Court Chief Judge, Right to Recall Reserve Bank Governor, all this printed in Gazette. So that is the goal of the movement. So what is the steps that I request activists to take? What steps people like you, me, everybody means whosoever who wants this draft to be printed in Gazette should take? The steps basic step is informing citizens about Right to Recall law drafts. Informing citizens, informing activists, and for that what activities I propose to activists? That they should read the draft, understand the draft, understand all the questions with respect to the draft and their answers, and then spread the information to other activists, and that way build a mass movement which is based on the draft. So one of the most important steps is to present this draft to all political activists, political party members and members of non-political political groups such as India Against Corruption, Bharat Swabhiman Trust. They don't take part in election, but they do. Their aim is to improve politics of India. So approach all the activists and give them information about this draft. Now, one key difference that I will mention between other party members or other group members and us, Right to Recall believers, recallists as we call them, as I call them, is that when we approach an activist, or at least when I approach an activist, I never ask him to leave his group and join my group. I also don't say that, can you join my group? Because what does the word join my group mean? It means that he has to leave his group. For example, I will be starting Right to Recall party as and when time permits. At that time I will not ask, if I meet a BJP worker, I am not going to ask him that join Right to Recall party. Why? Because if I ask him to Right to Recall party, that means I am asking him to leave BJP. What I ask them and what I request you to ask all other activists and all other members is, can you add Right to Recall PM draft, TCP draft, MRCM draft? Can you add Right to Recall PM draft in your party's manifesto? See, this is the basic difference between us recallists and other party members such as BJP or Congress or CPM or even new parties such as Anna Party. Anna Party members ask other political party members, can you leave your political party and join our political party? We don't do that. What we say is that here is Right to Recall PM draft, section 6.6 of this manifesto. can you add this right to recall PM draft in your party's manifesto? Now, why is that important? For two reasons why approaching political party members is important. That let us take profile of a population, of our population, then any person who is interested in bringing change in India, sooner or later he will join one or more political groups because he wants to bring change in the country. And when he wants to bring the change in country, he will interact with members of different political groups, Congress, CPM, RSS, India Against Corruption, Bharat Swabhiman Trust. It is but natural he will interact with other people, and those people will be member of one or more organizations, and they will request the new activist to become member of one or more organizations, and therefore the new activist too will eventually become member of one or more such organization. It is a very natural process. So if you take 100 persons at random from the voter list, this is the voter list of any constituency of India, say you take 1000 persons at random, then out of them 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, say 10 of them will be interested, 20 of them will be interested in bringing change in India, political change. But if you approach 100 political party members, then out of 100, 20 to 30 will be interested in bringing political change in India. So that's a concentrated audience. They are not fundamentally different human beings, but it's a concentrated audience, that is, they are more interested, and that is why they happen to be in one of these political groups. So in this chapter I have described, my video is not a substitute of this chapter. My video gives brief description of this chapter. At the end, I request you to read this chapter, and in the chapter I have given instructions that how you can spread the information. They are not really deep tactics, they are basically just common sense. That try to attend as many meetings as possible of all political NGOs, try to attend as many meetings as possible of all political party members, try to attend demonstrations, organization there, distribute pamphlets of right to recall, explain them what is right to recall, and then ask them that can you add this right to recall, TCP, etc. proposals in their party manifesto. Now finally, there are things that who is going to support right to recall draft. Amongst common people, if you see, MRCM draft will be fairly popular because it talks about directly giving mineral royalty to citizens. But common people issue is that if they like the proposal, they see you as a small-time activist, which is a fact. Me, you, all of us are small-time activists. So at first they will not get impression that we can actually deliver. Finally it is they have to deliver. Finally it is their mass movement which will force Prime Minister to print MRCM, mineral royalty for citizens, in the Gazette. But they will not be able to see that because of our small size that we can actually galvanize such a mass movement. So first round, of course we have to approach common people. I distribute pamphlets. When I am at bus stand, I distribute pamphlet not just to activists but to everyone. When I am distributing pamphlet door to door, I am distributing it to anyone. But at the same time, the person who will take significantly more interest will be the activist. So what kind of activist will show interest in right to recall proposal? First is that those who believe in system approach and not so-called moral character, political culture, national character, etc. There is a large class of activists who believe that India can be improved by improving what is called as moral character, national character, political culture, etc. And therefore there is no need to change laws, there is no need to bring new laws in Gazette and so forth. That is what they say. Maybe they believe or not, because when they need, they always talk about changing in law. And when they don't want like a particular law, they will say, oh well, making this law will not make any difference. We should focus on moral values and character, etc. But so by and large, this moral value, moral character, national character is an argument to evade or kill the change the law proposals. But they will not agree, and if they talk about moral character, then there are counter arguments. For example, you can argue that moral character in US is no better than in India. How? I have given examples in this book. The goal should be to convince the audience. So, second are the activists who are filled with superiority complex. The activists who are filled with superiority complex will say that they want to awaken the people, they want to awaken the masses, as if they are awake and everyone else is sleeping. Flip side could be that they are not really interested in anything. They did not like your law. Why they did not like your law? Because your law talks about right to recall law, talks about right to recall police commissioner, right to recall Supreme Court chief judge, right to recall prime minister. And they don't want to upset their relations with these powerful political authorities, and they don't want to bother other activist leader with this proposal. Let us say I am a small activist leader. I don't mind saying right to recall police commissioner, but I am in touch with another big activist leader. He does not want to say right to recall police commissioner. He does not want to say right to recall PM. I don't want to spoil my relation with him. Therefore, I will also cut away the proposals right to recall. So those who are interested in networking with other senior leaders, those who are interested in networking with retired Supreme Court judges, retired High Court judges, other ministers, they will always oppose right to recall by one or more frivolous excuses. And another is that large number of activists say that we should not have right to recall. Why? Because people in India don't have moral character, they don't have moral value, they are corrupt. Persons like Anna always goes around saying that 95% voters in India are corrupt. They give their vote for 100 rupee and liquor bottle and sari or dhoti, etc. And therefore there should not be any right to recall, because if there is right to recall, then people will take bribe and just recall a good person. This is a frivolous argument, but they say this. And moment they say, you can understand that this person has nexuses, or he wants to cultivate nexuses, or he does not want to upset people in power, and therefore he is cooking up frivolous excuses like people are corrupt and people will take money for recall and all that. I have explained in my right to recall procedure that citizen can change his preference any day. The fact that he can change his preference any day, that means that somebody who is paying money will have to give money every day. And that cannot happen. I cannot pay 100 rupees to 15 crore people every day. I can pay them once, I can pay them once a month, maybe I can pay them once a 3 months or once a month, but no one can pay 100 rupees to every common man of India, 75 crore voter or even 15 crore voter every day. So I have given list of proposals, the characteristic that people will not support right to recall. Again, the people who want to win election. Anybody who wants to win election will always oppose right to recall. Why? Because moment he comes into power, if right to recall laws are there, he loses his ability to extract benefit out of the system. So anyone whose goal is eventually to win election, he will oppose right to recall. Finally, I have given a short quiz. I have given a list of 25 questions. You can answer yes, no, and then fully agree or disagree. And that will decide whether you are a fit candidate for right to recall or not, and whether the person you meet is a fit candidate for right to recall or not. One is that citizens complain, suggestions sent to PM should come on the PM's website for a fee. if person has agreed. If the person wants to keep it confidential, it will remain confidential, otherwise it will come. Citizens should be allowed to register yes no on laws MPs MLA who has passed. Citizens should get rent from IMA plot, JNU plot. These are the questions I have given. Secondly, how to save the movement from pseudo-recallist, that I have explained in chapter 13. In chapter 13, section 13.19. Section 13.19, how to identify and expose the pseudo-recallist and how to save the right to recall movement from it. This is very important. Pseudo-recallists are the biggest reason why right to recall did not come in India. It is not anti-recallist. Anti-recallists like Subramaniam Swami, they oppose right to recall, but then they openly say they oppose right to recall. So we know that he opposes. Pseudo-recallists are people like Anna, people like Arvind Gandhi, etc. They will say they support right to recall, they will hijack the movement and then crush the movement, take it to dead end, confuse all the activists, and thus they will kill the right to recall movement. From 1925 till today, 1925 was the year Mahatma Chandrasekhar Azad. Mahatma Chandrasekhar Azad and his guru Mahatma Sachindranath Sanyal had demanded right to recall in 1925. And still we don't have right to recall laws in India's gazette, and that is because pseudo-recallists confuse the activist by saying, oh, we don't need draft, we'll make the draft tomorrow, day after tomorrow, next year, next lifetime. And then right to recall, when somebody criticizes right to recall, like Subramaniam Swami says that right to recall is nonsense, it will be too expensive, it will create instability. You will see that not even one person from Anna group, whether it is Anna himself or Arvind Gandhi or anyone, none of them refuted Subramaniam Swami's statement. So what is the impression that comes in general audience, mass public, that Subramaniam Swami says right to recall will bring instability. None of these Anna people bothered to answer, which means they don't have an answer, and hence maybe right to recall does create instability. So this is how a person who is not well informed about the right to recall draft will get a negative impression because of silence of this pseudo-recallists. See, when Subramaniam Swami said right to recall is nonsense, or right to recall will bring instability, that has nearly zero impact, because people know who is this Subramaniam Swami, same guy who said let us make Sonia Gandhi Prime Minister in 1999. If you do Google, you will find out Subramaniam Swami Sonia 1999. You will find out that Subramaniam Swami was trying to make Sonia Gandhi Prime Minister of India. He successfully dethroned Vajpayee. So nobody puts much faith in Subramaniam Swami, but they got confused behind the right to recall because of silence of Anna. That Anna did not refute this comment, so maybe right to recall does create instability and thus the movement dies. So before you decide to spend time on right to recall movement, and as you spend time on right to recall movement, I request you to understand the concept of pseudo-recallists thoroughly and understand the tactic that pseudo-recallists use very thoroughly. And so I'll summarize this video. The most important thing in right to recall movement is explaining right to recall law draft to political party activists of different members. Do not ask them to leave their group and join our group. Instead, request them that can you add this right to recall law draft in your party's manifesto, in your group's manifesto. They will talk to their leader will oppose. So in that case, the leader will get exposed before the activist, which is one of our goal. How I propose to strengthen right to recall movement is by convincing activists that right to recall law draft should be added in all parties manifesto in maximum number of party groups agenda, and or expose the activist leader who are opposing right to recall. So as we get more activists, the movement will strengthen, and as more and more activist leaders get exposed, their strength will reduce, which will again increase the strength of right to recall movement. That's all.